of this bowl is fresh. This has a fresh context. I'm always going to get fresh content. The context of this bowl is that it's moldy. Every time I reach into this bowl, I'm going to get moldy content, no matter what. There's no way around that. So what this is saying is that context predetermines the probable outcome. The probable outcome of reaching into that moldy fruit bowl is that I'm going to get a moldy piece of fruit. The probable outcome of reaching into the fresh fruit bowl is that I'm going to get a fresh piece of fruit. Y'all following me? Little bit? Some? Lot? Okay. Now, what kind of bowl of fruit are you living in? What kind of bowl of fruit are we all living in? This is the question that we are here to answer. When we reach into our bowl of fruit, are we guaranteeing that we get moldy fruit? Or are we predetermining that we get fresh fruit? Let's dive into that. So, this analogy right here, moldy fruit, fresh fruit, is really two different paradigms. Okay? So the first paradigm that I'm going to share is what we call the old paradigm. This is where most of the world is living today. This is where a lot of us live on our daily basis. I live in the old paradigm a lot. I'm constantly figuring out how to get out of this old paradigm. It's tough to get out of the old paradigm. There's a lot of things keeping us in the old paradigm. But this is the old paradigm. The context of this paradigm, the bowl that we're all living in, is denial, addiction, and survival. When these three programs are running, when we are in denial, when we are in addiction with addictive habits and tendencies, and when we are in survival chemistry, survival consciousness, we're only worried about survival, we're afraid, we're fearful, then the probable outcome of when this is our paradigm, when this is the context we're living in, the probable outcome of what our life is going to be, of what our experience in life is going to be, it's going to be drama, it's going to be struggle, it's going to be disconnection and feeling disconnected, it's going to be stress, it's going to be overwhelmed, it's going to be a lack of trust. You're going to, in general, feel a lack of trust for everyone and everything in the world and yourself. And this is, at its core, difficult world. This world is difficult world. How many of you have ever felt like you've lived in difficult world before? Raise your hand if you feel like you're in difficult world right now. Is the world difficult? Do we feel stress? Do we feel anxiety? Do we feel disconnected? Do we not trust? Do we feel overwhelmed? If those are the symptoms, if that's what you're experiencing, then what's happening is that you are living in the old paradigm. You are living in denial, addiction, survival paradigm. Anytime you reach in to this paradigm, what you're going to pull out is drama, struggle, stress, disconnect, difficult world. That's what this paradigm is. We got to get the hell out of this paradigm, ladies and gentlemen. We can't live here. This is not where the results that we all want to produce come from. This is not what the world we want to create is all about. We got to get out of this world. And the way that we get out of this paradigm is through the 10 powers. And I'm going to teach you guys the 10 powers today. So if this is the old paradigm, what's the new paradigm? So the new paradigm Honestly, we're all making it up. It doesn't really exist yet. It's a new paradigm. This is emerging on planet Earth right now. It's the first time a lot of humans are really learning how to not live in difficult world, how to not be in denial, addiction, and survival all the time. And we're now learning a new paradigm, a new way to live, a new way to be. So we're going to call this paradigm living freedom. This is the living freedom paradigm. Who wants to live free, baby? If you want to live free, hit that chest and go, yes! And feel it. Feel that energy. Because this is what's calling to us right now. This is what's calling to us. This is what's in your heart telling you, get up and make stuff happen. It's the calling to live free. To be free. Not just financially, but to be free. To live free. To not have stress and anxiety and overwhelm and lack of trust and disconnection dominate our psyches, but to actually have connectedness, wholeness, feeling whole. I am whole. There's nothing missing from me. I'm whole right now. Nothing missing from me. I'm connected. I'm connected to each and every one of you. I'm connected to others. I'm connected to the world. I'm connected to the animals. I'm connected to damn everything. I'm connected to this stage. Wow. How's that feel? To feel connected to each other. To embrace. Instead of denying the ability to embrace our lives and our emotions and our feelings and our pains and our struggles. That is part of this world. When you're living free, you embrace things. You have that power. You have that strength. You don't need to deny. You embrace. Love. A core tenet of being in the new paradigm is love. We feel love. The result of this is that we're connected. We feel love. We feel love from others. We give love to others. We're thriving in this new paradigm. We're happy. We feel good. Life is good. There's energy. Our physical health is vibrant. This is the thriving paradigm. And we have basic trust. Just basic trust. Look, I know a lot of you probably came from backgrounds like I did. Most of us did. In my background, I had no basic trust growing up. The world was a bad, scary place. That's how I felt. And that's what I got for a lot of years. I got bad, scary place world. And bad, scary place world sucks. Basic trust, feeling like, you know what, I can trust you. You can trust me. I can trust the universe. I can trust team. I can trust life. I can trust that things are going to work out. That is an amazing way to be in the world. It's amazing quality to cultivate, and it's game-changing. Because if we as a society had basic trust for each other, how much better would our society be? And a lot of the stuff that's keeping us from not trusting each other is bullcrap. It's mostly bullcrap. Most people, almost everybody I know, is a pretty damn good person that I can basically trust. There's probably a very small amount of people that are like, okay, you really can't trust that person, and you should have your thinking up, and you should set appropriate boundaries. But the vast majority of people are trustable. Why do we live our lives starting from mistrust? Why is that the context that we're living in instead of basic trust? It's just a question to live with. Because we're all making a choice today. We're making a choice. Remember, you came to this event to make a choice about who you're going to be. Are you going to become a force in nature? Are you going to climb the top of the mountain? It's just a choice. This paradigm is easy world. So two ways to understand, right? There's difficult world and there's easy world. Moldy fruit bowl to fresh fruit bowl.
35
and
minutes
it's
ago,
as simple as taking 5 minutes out of your day or 10 minutes out of your day to change your state and change the paradigm that you're living in.
Casual.
Yeah.
And you know, when I learned this from Diamond and River, it actually made all the stuff Tony Robbins has been teaching for decades, I got it so much more. Because Tony teaches all about state management, right? He tries to get everybody in peak state to produce results. And what that's really doing is it's changing your context, right? It's first 15%. If you get into the right state of mind, if you get into the right state of health and body and vitality, and then you go out there and you make a decision, that's probably going to be a better decision. It's probably going to lead to better results. But I don't think it's as simple as state management. And I love Tony to pieces, but this is where I just feel like there's more of the story. You know what I mean? Like there's sometimes where if you're just trying to change your state, but you're not doing some of the work underneath and really realizing that you're living in the old paradigm. And what's fueling that old paradigm? You know, what's fueling that old paradigm a lot of the time is it's the challenging things that maybe we haven't faced in our life yet. You know, it's the stuff that we're in denial about.
Black on white.
I'm not gonna get a job at office.
Exactly. Why you need to wear black on white?
So,
I don't even wear black on white.
I paused there because
You can wear jeans with a nice shirt.
it just feels like we got to take a minute to really address, you know, kind of where we're at, you know, as a species, as a culture right now. There's a lot of denial. You know, there's a lot of denial in our culture. There's a lot of denial in our personal lives. And I deny all the time. I'm in denial all the time about things. It's okay. It's fairly normal, right? I mean, if it wasn't normal, then it wouldn't exist. It exists. It's how we all grew up. It's how we all learned how to be. It's the way our culture works. You are telling your body to be in your parasympathetic nervous system. You're telling your body to relax. Take another one. Take a huge one. And this time, let it out with a big sigh. When you let out a breath with a big sigh, an audible sigh, it is literally telling your nervous system to relax. That you're safe and it's relaxing you. And you're now in your parasympathetic nervous system. You can even feel it just doing that, right? Our sympathetic nervous system is our fight mode. We enter our sympathetic nervous system when we are under threat. And when we enter our sympathetic nervous system, what happens is the body starts pulling energy from all the other areas of your body. It pulls it from your digestion, it pulls it from your immune system, and it harnesses your body to fight. So you have adrenaline running through you, you have all these hormones, and your body is in a state where it is literally ready to fight or flight at any moment. And all of the energy in your body is going to those two things. Because in that moment, your body doesn't need to digest. Your body doesn't need to protect your immune system. There's a threat. And unless your body fights or flights, you could die. That is the function of our sympathetic nervous system. Okay? So we have these two nervous systems. Parasympathetic. And then fight sympathetic. Which one do you think we're supposed to be living in the majority of our lives? Parasympathetic or sympathetic? Type it in. Type it into the chat box. Exactly. It's obvious. We're supposed to be in our parasympathetic nervous system because we're not in a state of constant threat in our life all the time. And being in our parasympathetic nervous system is what allows our body to deploy all of its energy to the immune system, to our digestive system, and all of the other systems of the body. So all of us have heard that stress kills, right? Everybody's heard stress literally kills you, have you not? But this is why stress kills you. When you're stressed out, you are constantly in your sympathetic nervous system. You are never relaxing. You are living in a state of constant fear, constant anxiety, constant fight or flight. And as such, your immune system is compromised. Your digestive system is compromised. A lot of your hormonal systems are compromised. Serious functions of your body are compromised because we were not designed to live in the sympathetic nervous system all the time. We were not designed to live there. And so we are literally dying from stress-related illnesses and diseases and autoimmune diseases. And all of it, ladies and gentlemen, you need to get this, is because of old paradigms. Everybody's living in the old freaking paradigm. We're living in difficult world. And the result of difficult world is stress, overwhelm, blah, 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 all the things we listed. So you're going to be in your sympathetic nervous system, and you're probably going to die sooner. That's the reality. Like, you're more susceptible to cancer, you're more susceptible to heart failure, you're more susceptible to a whole host of illnesses that are afflicting this society. And this is what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. So we got a choice to make about the life that we're going to live. Are we going to teach ourselves? Are we going to do the real work on ourselves so that we no longer live in the old paradigm? So that we move to the new paradigm? Are we going to do that work? Nobody can do that work for you. You know, you've got to make the choice. You have to. You've got to make the choice about what paradigm you're going to live in. Because it's work. It's work. There's a reason why we default to denial, addiction, survival. To live in the new paradigm, to break those habits, to break all of those neural pathways, all the times and all the choices that we've made our entire life, right? From that world, from that old paradigm, carve pathways, neural pathways in our brain. That's why it's so easy to just be like, trigger, like, you know, somebody criticizes me and I yell at them. Because there's a neural pathway that is carved. That's your response. You've done that response so many times that if you get criticized, you get angry and you attack. That's the response. That's the pathway. It's carved out in your brain. And in order to retrain your brain, you literally have to do a different response. And you have to practice that response over and over and over again. So what that would look like is, I get criticized, you know, my spouse criticizes me, someone at work, my kids, whatever, I get criticized. But instead of an instant attack response, I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to train myself and do the hard work of being in my parasympathetic nervous system. This is not a threat. My life is not at risk. Nothing's at risk here. This is just, you know, language coming at me. All right, what's the appropriate response? Maybe the appropriate response is, please don't talk to me that way. I don't deserve that kind of talk right now. You're being mean, or you're over aggressive, or whatever's going on. Like, I'll talk to you when you calm down. There's some kind of appropriate response, right, to the stimulus in our life. And we've all got to train ourselves. We've got to train our brains. And we've got to train ourselves to live in this new paradigm. And the results that we're going to get from living in the new paradigm is an amazing life. We're going to get an amazing life. The context predetermines the probable outcome. Who wants to have an amazing freaking life? Raise your hand. If you want to have an amazing life, ladies and gentlemen, this is how we do it. Context predetermines the probable outcome. We got to do the work to live in the new paradigm. So, that's the reason why we do all this energy management stuff. As you're about to see, energy management is one of the 10 powers. When we exercise, when we move our bodies, when we breathe, it's literally taking us out of the moldy bowl of fruit, and it's changing our state, and it's putting us in the fresh bowl of fruit. And now that you know that whatever bowl of fruit you're living in determines the content in your life, it determines the outcome. You get to choose what you're going to do to make sure that you live in the new paradigm, the fresh bowl of fruit. I know there's a lot to take in, but are y'all following me? You staying with me on this? You guys is anybody having some popcorn moments, some light bulbs going off? Like you're seeing this and you're seeing your own life and you're like, oh damn, this is where I've been living in the old paradigm. Oh, no wonder I got this result. Oh, that makes sense. Like, it's just starting to integrate some of these nuggets. Take these nuggets in. This is the work that I've learned in my own life. That's really allowed me to keep climbing more and more and more mountaintops. And I don't have any end to the mountaintops in sight that I want to climb. So, here's the rules for winning, everybody. Here's the rules for winning. This weekend, you got to be willing to break through. You have to be willing to break through. That means showing up, practicing, opening yourself. You're going to use the powers. We're going to teach you 4 powers this weekend. Okay? We're going to do a sequence here in just a bit. We're going to teach 4 powers and train 4 powers. These powers are going to allow you to shift from the old paradigm to the new paradigm when you use them. We're going to challenge our preconceived ideas. What are the ideas that we've brought to the table that might not be serving us anymore? And can we open ourselves to some new ideas that may allow us to produce some better results than we've ever produced before? And I want everyone here today, this is the invitation, be willing to enter into the new context and just try it out. See how it feels. Just see how it feels to enter into a new context, to get into state, to go from denial, addiction, survival to living freedom. And lastly, commit 100%. Because that 100% commitment, that's where it's at, man. I cannot promise any of you perfection. You all already know that. You're in power. You know we're not perfect. You can ask my wife. You can ask all my friends. I'm sure as hell not perfect. They'll give you a laundry list. Oh my goodness. That's just part of being human, right? So we can't commit to perfection. But what we can commit to is giving you 110% of us. Every person on this team, every member of the Power Management team, every member of the Power Operations team and Customer Service team and Sales Support team and Finance team and Business Development team and Installer Services team, every one of us, our production team, our amazing event team, our media teams, our training teams, every one of us can commit to giving you 110% of what we got. We can't give you perfection, but we can give you 110% of who we are and what we got. So what I'm going to ask is, can you give that to me? And can you give that to us the next 2 days? And if you can, if you're willing to make that commitment and really play with us, then please enter in the comment box so I can see every single person's name here that you are in 110% for the next 2 days and you are willing to play full out. Beautiful. John, Hayden, Bill, Eric, Dan, Rob, Shai, Louise, Stacy, Hugh, Jason, Caesar, Sandra, Joe, Michael, Oscar, Laura,
This
Sherry,
is, Peter Notes.
Lance,
This is Powur.
Timothy, Emilio, Damien, Gustavo, Destiny,
You had done my
Jose,
roof a couple
Ricardo,
months ago?
Bruce, Leo, Aaron,
Yeah.
Ray,
I have
Solar
a
Lily,
customer that's in the same position
Iseli,
as me.
Nelson, Randy,
She's trying to
Luis,
get solar,
Rick,
but they
Vince,
told she needs to
Bruce,
upgrade her roof.
JR, Fidel, Joel.
So I was
Rory.
reaching out to you.
Boom! I'm feeling it. Kareem, John, Philip,
Okay.
Kimberly, Mr. Renasso, Carolyn, Lisa, Boris. Yeah!
Yes, I could text it. to
We
you.
are going to become warriors, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to build an army of solar warriors like the world has never
She
seen.
lives close to
I
me. She
promise
lives in,
you this.
off
We are going to
Kirkendall
take
in
over
1960.
industries after
She
industries,
said when
and
you
we're
call
going to
her to
change
text her first.
We're
so she
gonna
don't enter
change
unknown number.
this damn world and how this game is played. Do you know how I know?
Oh,
Because of
All right.
that right
Thank you.
there.
All right.
Because of your willingness. Because of every single time one of you steps up to the plate and commits 110% of who you are and becomes a force of nature and realizes that nothing can stop you. Whoo! That is power, ladies and gentlemen. That is powerful. That is a community of people. That's a group of people that can start the next renaissance. And make no mistake about it, but when I think about the kinds of games I want to play in life, starting the next renaissance sounds like a hell of a game to play. That sounds so fun. Let's go start the next renaissance, ladies and gentlemen. And this is how we're going to do it right here. So, we're about to get into the 10 powers, and we're going to practice the 10 powers. But before we do, I want us to go back to breakouts, and after this section, I want each of us to come up with something that we are willing to give up this weekend from the old paradigm. Something from the denial, addiction, survival paradigm that you are willing to give up this weekend. You're going to give it up.